Beam team, listen up. Y'all better sit down for this one because what I'm about to tell you is going to send shockwaves through the entire Sacramento basketball universe. We've got three massive developments happening with our Kings that are about to flip this franchise upside down. And I'm not even kidding when I say this could be the most important 48 hours in recent Kings history. First off, smash that like button right now because this information is so fresh, it's still smoking. And you're gonna want to share this with every single person in Beam Team. Hit that subscribe button too because we're about to dive deep into some serious Kings chaos that's brewing behind the scenes. Here's what's got me absolutely fired up. We've got a former head coach making moves that nobody saw coming. Point guard situation that's about to get turned completely on its head, and a draft strategy that's either pure genius or complete madness. And get this, one of these stories involves a player who's barely over 5 feet tall, but plays like he's 7 feet tall. Another involves a coaching carousel that's spinning out of control, and the third, well, that involves a former MVP who just made a decision that has everyone talking. The front office is making moves in 3 different directions simultaneously. And honestly, I don't know if they're building something special or if they're about to create the most beautiful disaster in NBA history. But here's what I do know. Every single Kings fan needs to hear this information right now. Don't forget to drop those comments below because I want to know what Beam Team thinks about these developments. So buckle up because we're starting with the draft news that has scouts absolutely losing their minds. Mark Sears. Remember that name, Beam Team, because this 5'11" Alabama sensation just walked into our workout facility and might have just changed everything about our draft strategy. This is the guy I was talking about, the player who's barely over 5 feet tall but plays like he's 7 feet tall. And let me tell you why this workout has everyone in the Kings organization absolutely buzzing with excitement and terror at the same time. Sears just came off a season where he averaged 21.5 points, 4.2 rebounds, 4.0 assists, and 1.6 steals, with shooting splits that will make your jaw drop. 50.8% from the field, 43.6% from 3, and 85.7% from the free throw line. Those aren't just good numbers, Beam Team. Those are video game numbers. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. We traded away our first-round pick to Atlanta, so we're sitting at 42nd overall. But sources are telling me that our front office is desperately trying to trade back into the first round, potentially as high as the early 20s. They're making phone calls, they're wheeling and dealing, and they're convinced they can pull off something special. The comparison that has everyone talking? Jalen Brunson. Scouts are saying Sears has that same fearless mentality, that same ability to make big plays when it matters most, and that same refusal to let his size define his game. Can you imagine having our own version of Brunson running the point for the Kings? Now here's the thing that has me absolutely terrified and excited at the same time. This could either be the steal of the century or the biggest gamble our front office has ever made. But that's not even the craziest part of this story, Beam Team. Because while we're trying to figure out our draft situation, there's another bombshell that just dropped involving a coaching situation that's about to affect us in ways nobody expected. Hold on to your seats, Beam Team, because Mike Brown, yes, our former head coach, who we let go just months ago, is now being courted by the New York Knicks for their head coaching position. This is absolutely mind-blowing. The same coach who led us to our first playoff appearance in 16 years, the same coach who had us believing we could compete with anyone in the Western Conference, is now sitting down with one of the most prestigious franchises in the NBA. The Knicks just fired Tom Thibodeau after their Eastern Conference Finals run, and guess who's at the top of their interview list? Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins. This means that the coach we thought wasn't good enough for Sacramento might be about to take over a team that was just 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. Can you believe this, Beam Team? We're out here scrambling to figure out our identity, trying to draft 5'11" point guards and praying they can save our franchise, while Mike Brown is about to potentially coach in Madison Square Garden. The same coach who took the Cavaliers to the NBA Finals, who had championship-level experience, and who we decided to move on from after 31 games. I'm not saying we made the wrong decision. Our season was falling apart and something had to change, but seeing Brown potentially land with the Knicks while we're still figuring out our direction, that's got to sting a little bit, right? And here's what makes this even more complicated, Beam Team. While we're watching our former coach potentially upgrade to a better situation, we're making our own moves in free agency that are either going to be absolutely brilliant or completely insane. Because the point guard situation I mentioned earlier, it's about to get a whole lot more interesting with a name that's going to shock you. Beam Team, are you ready for this bombshell? Russell Westbrook, the former MVP, the triple-double machine, the most explosive point guard of his generation, just declined his player option with the Denver Nuggets. And guess which team is being mentioned as his top landing spot? The Sacramento Kings. I'm not making this up. Russell Westbrook, at 36 years old, coming off a season where he provided veteran leadership and that signature Westbrook energy for a championship-contending Nuggets team, is reportedly considering Sacramento as his next destination. Think about this for a second. We're talking about drafting Mark Sears, a 5'11" college star, while simultaneously being linked to Russell Westbrook, one of the most accomplished point guards in NBA history. Our front office is literally covering all bases, from unproven rookies to proven veterans. Westbrook averaged 13.3 points, 4.9 rebounds, 6.1 assists, and 1.4 steals with Denver. But more importantly, he brought that championship-level intensity every single night. Can you imagine that energy in a Kings uniform? Can you picture Westbrook running fast breaks with our young core, bringing that playoff experience to a team that's desperate to get back to the postseason? And here's the beautiful part. There's no pressure on Westbrook in Sacramento. He doesn't have to be the savior. He doesn't have to carry the franchise on his back. He can just be Russell Westbrook, the energy, the passion, the leadership that every young team needs. But Beam Team, this is where it gets real. Westbrook has spent his career chasing that elusive championship. If he's really considering Sacramento, that means he sees something special in this organization, something that makes him believe we can compete. Hit that like button if you want Westbrook in a Kings jersey. So here we are, Beam Team, potentially drafting a 5'11" future star, watching our former coach interview with championship-level teams, and being linked to a former MVP who could change our entire culture overnight. Make sure you're subscribed because this offseason is just getting started, and I have a feeling Sacramento is about to make some moves that will have the entire NBA talking. Here's my question for you, Beam Team. Are we building something special, or are we just throwing everything at the wall and hoping something sticks? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear what you think about this absolute chaos.